grinds you down, but then it builds you back up.
Welcome to New York.
Welcome to New York.
Welcome to New York.
You know, New York is literally the center of the planet, right? In terms of the financial markets and culture, diversity, everything. I mean, you look around, even Harlem, right? It's not what you would think when someone mentioned Harlem 30 years ago. This is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But what is it for you then, personally?
Sorry,
What's it for you personally?
New York?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the place I call home for sure. I've been here 35 years, and I've lived in every borough, every part of Manhattan. So I would consider myself a typical New Yorker.
All right.
In terms of attitude, at least.
What's the typical New York attitude then?
It's open, free, truly liberal, not pseudo-liberal. And one that believes that I think is largely non-religious, very open-minded, highly intellectual.
All right.
And hence the diversity that you see relatively peacefully coexisting, right?
Yeah.
In a city like New York. I mean, it's rare. I mean, I've lived all over the world. It's rare what you find in New York.
All right.
Yeah.
And there's also a lot of stress. People can be quite hard as well, but quite tough people.
Yeah, well, it takes, it's a tough place. Tough in terms of being highly competitive. If you're lazy and you don't want to. And I'm not saying you have to be highly educated or necessarily, but at every level, if you're willing to work hard, this is the place it's going to happen, right? It's competition, but when you say tough, it means it's highly competitive. Nobody would give you anything. You have to work for it, right? And it's what America theoretically is about, right? You work, you get the environment, the infrastructure, the job, and you apply yourself, you commit yourself, and you should progress materially, right? And it happens. I mean, at every level, you don't see people unhappy or starving in New York, right?
You prospered here?
Oh, more than most, trust me.
How?
I'm from Wall Street 25 years, but it's,
You're from Wall Street, you know?
I still am. I'm a financial markets participant, so
You're like the Wolf of Wall Street.
Huh?
You're the Wolf of Wall Street guy.
Well, lowest here, but enough. So I'm totally, just for your guide, for your high school students, that whole Occupy Wall Street movement is counterproductive, anti-national, anti-social, and disruptive. And those people are dysfunctional people. I'd like high school, if anything your high school kids hear me say that. Okay? And I suspect that it's counter to what you believe, but
I don't have any opinion yet about that. I think the system is too complex for me.
Those people, high school kids after those types are unfortunately prevalent in the university system in America because, especially in these liberal arts and political science departments, it's populated by these ex-leftist communists that had nothing to do after the Soviet Union collapsed. And they've created a generation of these idiots that stand there against the greatest, money-making machine, the core of America for the last 200 years, financial markets, and Occupy Wall Street, bring it down.
All right.
People work hard in Wall Street. That's the next point.
I
accept that there's not an industry in the world where mediocrity gets rewarded at this level, the financial, but it does provide the kind of lubricant that an efficient economy needs, right? In terms of capital and that sort, distribution of capital.
Do you have any advice for young people who want to come to New York, live here, and survive here? How do you do that?
This is, I think anywhere, and I've lived all over. I've lived in Hong Kong, Singapore, London, right, Bangalore, India, and I'm from the West Indies. So I can tell you there's no other place like New York. If you have, obviously a basic requirement, you find a job and a place to stay would help, right? But you apply, there's opportunities here at every, turn. Every networking, when you talk about networking, it's real networking, because they're high value networking opportunities at just about every opportunity, right? You thought you'd have met a guy like me standing in the street corner in Harlem? I doubt that very much, right?
Sorry? What?
I doubt you'd have thought.
No,
you'd
I
have
didn't
met
expect
someone
that.
Like
No,
me
no,
standing in
it's
the
great.
street.
So, what would your advice be? Take the opportunity or what?
To do what? To
No, if people come here, they have to. What would your advice
I
be?
think it's more, you know, look, of course, there's, you know, you have, it depends on who you, let's be real, who are you talking about, right? Are you talking about a white kid from middle America coming to New York? You know, you want to experience the real world. This is it, right? You're talking about a black kid from, you know, Chicago or some, you know, inner city, you know, there's nothing that you're going to miss from your home here for sure.
No, but I mean, what property, personal character trait do you need to have to succeed here?
I think it's just a will to experience life to the fullest, right? An existential approach to life. Like you know, you recognize that you have a limited, finite time. 70, 75 is getting, you know, 90 years, and you're going to make the most of it in an environment that is as enriching as possible. Look, if when we're in a suburb, most people in the suburbs, a 9-to-5 job, you'd be bored out of your life. And here, you would never be bored. You know, you would. It generates us. You know, there's cliches. New York, what is this? You know, you make it anywhere, those sort of things. But it literally is in large. If it applies to any city, it applies to New York. You know, in terms of opportunities and remuneration for doing and you know, because you can generate the opportunity, generate profit, and that's what drives it. And then you can live, right? And you know, to travel any part of the world, you're the center of the world. You know, you want to go home for the weekend, you go home. I mean, it's a great place. I couldn't, you know, I've lived all over. Like I said, I always come back to New York. You know, at the end of the day, and you know. But for young people, anyone look, I'm not saying Chicago or LA or you know, London. I love London personally, right? I think it's sort of very much like New York, except with a more deeper history. So hence it's more rigid in terms of mobility, right? Social mobility. But it's the same concept apply, and it's applying more and more to the European cities, right? But yeah, these are the places that afford, especially if you've grown up in some middle America or some suburban environment all your life, and you're someone that wants to experience, you know, when I say experience life, it's not drugs, sex, and rock and roll, right? It is an opportunity to do anything, literally, that you want to, right? With a level of freedom that you never get anyplace. And most people with any intelligence, that's the biggest selling point, right? Just be able to get, once you're old enough to take care of yourself financially, is just to be able to live and experience and go with things, right? And work hard, right? There's no gimmies in New York, right? Right. Mate.
Thank you so much, man.